I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another review, and this is another paid request, this time for Broad Stipe. Thank you so much for that. If anyone's ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, you just send your request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is for a film called Frontiers. It is one of those extreme French horror films. At the time, they did Inside, they did Martyrs, High Tension. I would say of those, this is the one I could watch the most. Because those other films I'm not really a fan of. This one, by the end of the film, I got vibes of the Hills of Eyes remake. In a good way. Granted, the Hills of Eyes remake is much better than this, but when I got to the third act and the lead person is able to take ass, I'm like, okay, this is like a female Doug from Hills of Eyes. Granted, Doug is fucking badass in the remake. That's above, this would be here. But still, not a bad direction to go in. Because the gist of the story, funny enough, by Xavier Gens, the guy who directed Hitman from 2007. Now, I watched this over Hitman. In Paris, these riots break out because someone's being elected that they don't want. Gee, I hope that never happens here. The characters, they use this to do a robbery. It's successful. They try to get the fuck out of the city. And pretty much they're split into two groups. Two guys here. A pregnant lady, a guy, and the pregnant lady's brother. The brother's been shot. They go to the hospital. He dies of his wounds. They leave. The two guys get to this family inn. And it becomes a bit of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or the Paris Nazi Massacre. Or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a lot of Chainsaw Massacre type of stuff. And the gore, pretty solid. Fingers get shot off. One person gets burned in a boiler, which is a graphic scene. One person gets hung upside down in you see the foot protrude, the hook going more and more through the guy's foot as he's hung upside down. You definitely get a lot of gore in the third act. Those two guys are doing their thing. And then the pregnant lady and the other guy arrive, and then they get caught, and ultimately she escapes. And it did remind me a bit of the Hills of Eyes, because there's a person there among the bad guys who is a bit more innocent or a bit more into helping our lead character, kind of like in the Hills of Eyes. I will say, though, for me, some of the detriments to this movie, number one, is the way it's shot, which showcases why this guy should not have shot action films later on. Shaky cam. Terrible, terrible shaky cam that makes it so you can't tell what the fuck is going on. Cinematography at times is rather dark, whether that's how it was lit, filters, sometimes the darker cinematography, and a lot of times the camera is like up close to people when it should be a bit farther back. And that would have benefited being further back. Would have benefited with a wider scope of certain scenes, especially like if it's supposed to be a claustrophobic setting. For example, at one point, these two guys, after they escape, they go into this hole as a very claustrophobic crawling through the hole. That's a moment, yes, that the camera be up close to our characters, even more so signify the claustrophobic tendencies that could culminate in being this fucking situation, which I wouldn't want to be, crawling through this tight, narrow hole. That's what she said. But other instances, put some more fucking lights on it and calm the fuck down on the camera. I'm tired of this fucking shit. This is not fucking good. This is not fucking fun. And it's not fucking scary. To me, that's the biggest flaw of the film. Now, the bad guys, they're rejects of Chainsaw Massacre type of stuff, but also deal with Nazis, but they're cannibals. And I do think there's some intense sequences. The boiler room sequence, I would say, is one. There's a point where a character finds what I call the meat locker, where it's a bunch of dead bodies hung like a slaughterhouse, and the guy is going through in between each one. And the pregnant lady, she gets to kick a lot of ass. Well, maybe not a lot, but she gets to kick some ass. And that's actually pretty neat. You know, a pregnant lady. There's not many. Now that I think about it, this is what I did not get inside. I got out of this. And of course, more people prefer Inside over this. I disagree. But that's different strokes for different folks. I'd rather see a pregnant lady kidding the shit out of people, the bad guys, avoiding machine gun fire, chopping the shit out of a guy to make him fall into a fucking saw, blowing out tanks, like, you know, tanks, although the effect wasn't the best, ripping throats out of people. I'd rather see that than just the stupid fucking lawn chase scene with the ending in a film like Inside that was so stupid. Hey, I'm a cop. Here's a pregnant lady. I'm not going to tear you outside, even though I should, because you're pregnant, you're hurt. I'm going to have you go lay on that bed, and I'm going to look around with this other guy who's a prisoner. I'm sorry. If you like Inside, that's fine. I think it's fucking stupid for a number of reasons, including that one. But this one, though, like I said, if it had better cinematography, more lights, call Christian Bale. Maybe he'll tell him to get some fucking lights. Calm the fuck down on the camera. Stop it. There you go. Leave the camera there. Fix that. That would help it tremendously. Hills of Ice remake had a little bit of shaky, but to me, that nowhere near this. And Alexander Aja knew when to keep the camera pulled back enough to see a bit more. Even if it's shaky a little bit, it's not this. Because even in this actually is a little bit shaky, but that was more tolerable than this. So those are the two things. The rest of it, though, maybe it's supposed to be a bit more political because of the beginning. I didn't get much out of that. I would say it's more the beginning portion. I said more of a Chainsaw Master type of flip. This is a better Chainsaw Master film than Leatherface or fucking. I'll say that this is a better Chainsaw Master flick than. I keep mentioning that, but there's no chainsaws. There's no one like Leatherface, so maybe that's not the right way to describe it. But I didn't know how else to describe it. But it's better than Texas Chainsaw 3D. It's better than Leatherface. It's better than Next Generation. And it doesn't have some bullshit ending. Has some nice brutal gore. It is a foreign film, so you have to watch with subtitles. I don't know if there's a dub version. I don't know. The only one I could find is the subtitle version. And just out of like Martyrs, it wasn't a film where the entire movie is let me fillet someone, so maybe they'll tell me the secrets of death, even though they could just be lying to me and just making shit up and hallucinating. It's not a film like, hey, I'm chasing a pregnant lady, even though all this other stupid shit like a pregnant lady driving a fucking car, that makes a lot of sense. And again, stupid cops and shit. High tension, hey, you like this ending? No. You like this twist? No. Too bad. So sad. Here we go. Again, it didn't have any stupid fucking twist that, like, high tension. It told more of a fucking story than Martyrs or Inside. I'm trying to think what the other French horror movies were. I don't know, Frontiers, to me, this was the more tolerable of those type of flicks. You know, the inside of this clan, whatever you want to put it, these Nazi guys, just some of them are Nazi, some of them not. You definitely felt the grunge, the dirt, the itchiness, the vileness of this environment. Like I said, there are some intense sequences, some nice production value, and the fact like the slaughterhouse with all the dead bodies hanging around, the way that shot when the guys walking around there, like that was well shot. Wasn't shaking like this all the time. There's even the dinner sequence that was almost like Chainsaw Massacre. But at least the lead is, she's pregnant, she gets the shit kicked out of her, but she's a badass. I at least appreciate that. You appreciate simple stuff. You goddamn right. So, damn Skippy. So overall, I liked Frontiers. I saw this back when it came out on DVD. I liked it. Overall, again, cinematography and the camera work, much more improvement needs to be made. The rest of it, you know, again, not original. An Chainsaw Master type of flip, but again, it does try to go for some intense visual thrills that I think it achieves. Does have a cheap ass ending and has a pretty satisfying finale. Not too bad with that. And also the score. The score was pretty good at times. Didn't as good as say the score from Hills of Eyes remake, but the score at times I thought was rather effective. Especially in the second half, third act of the film. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.